This is part 2 of the tutorial for completing your APA Word 4 academic paper formatting and citations assignment. And in part 1, we got as far as step 27, and now we're on step 28, which starts a new stage. Time to add citations to prove your information. In short, and we're going to talk about it in class, what's the whole point of citations in bibliography? In the academic world, if you say something, you claim something, you have to show that you have proof. In other words, it's the answer to the question, says who? If you say in your paper that, 90% of schools have blah, 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 whatever, the question that the academic world, the scientific world is asking, says who? Where you got this information? And that's where the citation comes in. It's got to be provable and traceable and very standardized so other scholars can follow this and research or see on their own if it's true and if they want to investigate further and so on. So on the second page, second paragraph, insertion needs to be spelled right. Say insertion. Right here, insertion point. After the word rationed, but before the period, press space to insert one space between the word and the period. So I kind of magnified it. There's going to be the word rationed. After the D, you're going to put a space, so your cursor is right before the period. That's exactly the place where the citation should go, according to APA standards. So I'm going to find it. I'm going to find the word education, pervasive. Right here, it's in the second paragraph, and here it is, rationed. Because in the introduction, there's no citations. And on this one. So again, I'm putting my cursor right after the D, pressing space. You see where my cursor is? One space after the D, but still before the period. One insertion point before the period, we're going to go to the References tab and press Insert Citation. This is where it's a little different from Mac and Windows. On Windows, it's like a little drop menu, and there's more than one item there, and we're going to choose the item Add New Source. On Mac, we just press the button and the dialog opens. In both cases, we're looking for the same dialog, and that's where we're going to type the following information. This one. References, insert citation. Again, on Windows, if I press, it's going to drop a menu. On Mac, it's simply going to launch the dialog. And the information, first of all, the first thing to take care of, and it's really easy to forget, is what type of source. So what I'm going to do, let me cancel, is make it easy for myself. So I can see what the instructions say to do. The first citation, the one right after the word ration, or the one that's part of the word ration, is going to be a website. You need to know what kind of citation it is. And then on Windows, the order of those fields is a little different. Like the author might appear here and the year a little higher, but the actual fields themselves are exactly the same. It's only a cosmetic change. So for right now, just to make, not to slow down this tutorial, I'm just going to insert like placeholder information here, URL, and year, and month, May, and day 15. Of course, you need to follow very carefully the example that's in, not the example, the instruction that's in the instructions. The actual information spelled exactly the same because I want your final bibliography to follow this. So it looks like real sources. I'm going to click OK. And what it enters is supposedly the last name of the author and the year. Save. Press OK. Line should like this. Yours should say Cohen because you need to enter Cohen, comma, Jane. Like first name, comma, then last name, comma, then first name. If for some reason yours looks different, the way to edit the citation is to click on it, and then it gets that little frame with a down arrow, and you're going to edit, not edit citation, but edit source. So if for some reason my citation doesn't look right, I click on it, it gets that little frame, I click that little down arrow, edit source, and the same dialog comes up, and then I can fix whatever needs to be fixed. If it looks right, we're going to insert another one. Go to third paragraph. Let me minimize so I can see. After the heading, the first decade of the millennium, and place insertion point between the end of the words access and the period. Press space to create the space. So I'm going to find the word access, which is right here. Actually, there's two, first decade of the millennium. Yeah, access period. So it's not the first access, it's the second one. Space, and then insert another citation. You guys are going to follow exactly what it says here. The main difference, other than, the names and the year, is going to be that this is going to be an article in a periodical. So I'm going to just quickly do like a mock one. Insert citation. Again, on Windows is going to be add new citation. It's going to be a periodical, article in periodical. Again, author, title, periodical title. You're going to follow the exact information from here. I'm just saving time. Let's say 2003, month, January, and day, whatever, and pages, whatever it says here. Right now, I'm just inserting something just to have something, and here's my second citation. Save. And then yep, that's your other citation. For right now, inserted only only two. And we just did step number 32 and 33, and we inserted this article in periodical, and that's your second citation. Now we will create 34, we'll create a bibliography section. Let's assume that these are the only citations we got for now. Place insertion point after the last paragraph, after the period. So in other words, I'm going to find whatever is the last word in the whole thing, and that's world. And then in the Layout tab, I'm going to find breaks, because the bibliography needs to be on its own last page, not on whatever space is left. Breaks, page. And no matter how much space is left on the last page, bibliography is going to always be on its own new last page. And then in the References tab, I'm going to go to the button or the menu called Bibliography and choose the first option that comes up in that menu, the one with the heading Bibliography, and it even shows you, which one. So in that new page that I just created with a page break, I'm going to go to References, Bibliography, pull-down menu, and choose the very first option. It's the same on Mac and Windows. It's the one that starts with a word, bibliography, because that's what APA standard requires. And look at how it created two lines. Here's my first one. Here's my my second one. Of course, yours are going to look different. Yours are going to look like what it says in the instructions. It should look like this. If you inserted your two references correctly. But, so mine are just, placeholders. But, step number 38, let's say that we forgot. After we created the bibliography, say, oh no, I forgot that I have one more citation. So let's insert it. Find the paragraph after the heading Current Trends in Computer Use in Education. Find the word gains, again, right between the S and the period. We're going to create a space, and we're going to insert another citation. This time it's going to be a book. So, current trends, not conclusion, but current trends, and find the word again. What is it? Gains. Where are you? No, not current trends. I can always search for the word gains. Oh, it's in the conclusion. Okay, it found only one, so let me fix the instruction to say conclusion. So right after the word gains, in the conclusion, I don't need the search anymore, space, references, insert citation. Again, on Windows, it's going to be a little menu. On Mac, it pops up immediately the dialogue. This time, it's going to be a book. Author. It's always going to be like, if it's a real one, last name, comma, first name. And title, and city, and publisher. That's the standard for books. And a year. And that's pretty much it. And it inserts my new citation. But once I inserted my third citation, we just did these steps. You are going to insert, of course, these exact words. And but now we need to update our bibliography, because our bibliography is only the first two, and we added a third one. So what we do is we go to our bibliography, and we click on it, and it gets that little frame around it, and a little tab that says bibliography, and a little down arrow here where I can update citations in bibliography. And here it is. It added the third one. And save, of course. Finally, let's make the bibliography comply with APA standards. To comply with APA standards, select all the lines in citations, not the heading. The heading is already cool. Open paragraph dialog and change line spacing to double, spacing before and after to 0. And make sure that the font is Times New Roman 12, which it isn't right now. So let's take care of all of this. Home, font, Times New Roman 12. Paragraph, again, in Windows is going to be that little launcher here. On Mac, it's format paragraph, and we're going to make sure the spacing is double and 0 before, 0 after. And now my bibliography looks right. We just did 41 and 42. Compare your document with a PDF example on this module. If everything looks good, save and submit. On this module, there's a PDF example of what the final should look like. And if it looks just like yours, submit and good luck.